think we can all agree that our little friend Cauliflower here has had quite the come up over the last few years, but wings are still its #1 flex. But these baked teriyaki wings are absolutely amazing and worth all of the hype. There are a few ways that you can make cauliflower wings. You can fry them, we can bake them, or you could even air fry them. I will link up here somewhere where you can see how we fry ours, but today we wanted to focus on baking them for our friends that are either oil-free or just trying to reduce your overall oil consumption. Just a quick tip, if you buy your cauliflower and it comes in a plastic bag like this, we highly recommend that you actually open the bag so it looks something like this. This lets air continue to circulate throughout, and it helps to prevent condensation forming, which will actually promote mold growth on top of your cauliflower. So we don't want that to happen. So just leave it open a little bit and let the air flow. The first thing we gotta do is go from a head of cauliflower to florets. So I'm gonna show you 2 ways to do that. Start by removing any large green leaves. This should leave you with access to where you can start to see the base of the florets, and you're just going to cut each one and pop it out and keep going down the stalk until you're left with only the stalk in your hand. This is completely edible and can be cubed and added to things like casseroles or stir fries. You'll be left with different sized floret pieces, and you'll want to cut any large pieces in half so they are more even and they cook more evenly. The second way to cut is again to remove the green leaves and then slice straight down the middle in half. Once you have it halved, you are going to slice each half in half again. I will say that this way creates a bit more of a mess, so I do prefer the first way, but wanted to provide options. You'll see the stalk here, and you're just going to use your knife to slice that straight down, and then you should be left with just your florets that you can see easily and break apart. Rinse your florets and then pat them dry to get as much water off as possible. Set that to the side and then grab a bowl to make our batter. Inside your bowl, you are going to add in some all-purpose flour, some garlic powder, a little black pepper, and some salt. Lastly, some unsweetened non-dairy milk, and give that a whisk together. Add a little more milk if needed to get to a pancake batter-like consistency. Set that to the side and then grab another bowl and add some breadcrumbs. We do like panko breadcrumbs as it gives a bit more of a crunch, and lastly, a baking sheet at the end. For our gluten-free friends, you can absolutely make this recipe gluten-free. You wanna use a 1-to-1 flour blend instead of just all-purpose flour, and then you also wanna use a gluten-free breadcrumb. We like these gluten-free panko breadcrumbs. They work perfectly, and it's actually what we're using in the shot where you see the breadcrumbs. Now you're just going to go through your stations. Dip your floret into the wet batter, shake off any excess, and then gently cover and press with breadcrumbs before sitting on your baking sheet. Repeat with all your cauliflower until no more remains. We do find that gluten-free breadcrumbs are larger than traditional ones, so you may need to double what the recipe calls for. Then, once you have all your florets done, we're going to take our baking sheet to the oven and bake. Tip time, you can absolutely double, triple, quadruple, whatever you need for this recipe, whether you are planning to serve a lot of people or you are like me and you can just consume a lot of cauliflower wings because they are just that good. The tip is to make sure you are not overcrowding your baking sheet, or if you happen to be air frying or frying these, that you're not overcrowding your pan or your air fryer. This just helps make sure that your cauliflower wings don't get soggy. Also, if you are doubling or tripling them, it also makes for an easy way to use different types of flavors, so you don't have just like one type of flavor because you only have like, 10 to 15 cauliflower florets. This just helps to make sure that you can do that too. Also, this helps if you are trying to make multiple different kinds. Maybe you want to do some barbecue, some teriyaki, some buffalo. If you double or triple your recipe, you can easily just make them whatever flavor you want to. When your timer goes off, your cauliflower wings should be nice and golden brown. You are going to grab a large bowl and add each floret in, then pour over your favorite sauce. Here we are using a teriyaki, but you could do buffalo, barbecue, lemon pepper, literally any of your favorite sauces. And then toss them until everything is coated. Once you feel good about them being covered, you are going to place them back onto your baking sheet and bake them into oven for a few more minutes. Just a tip, if you aren't planning to eat these right away, I do recommend letting them cook for the full amount of time and then adding the sauce either later or just dipping the cauliflower wings into the sauce as you are eating them after you have reheated them. Also, just want to share here, this is what your florets will look like if you put them into an air fryer instead of the oven. They aren't as golden brown, but do still have spots here and there. Both instructions are on the recipe post. And then when completely finished, you will have these lovely, amazing baked cauliflower wings that are super soft and perfect on the inside every single time. The full recipe for these can be found at makeitdairyfree.com. I hope you enjoyed this one and you give it a try, and you have a great week. It's so good.